And welcome to the Cinema Lounge. Where we chill and talk about movies. And it is the month of October. It is spooky month, the time of ghosts and ghouls and witches and wizards and all sorts of scary things. I personally have come to really love Halloween, especially getting into the horror genre films and filmmaking, and just going to a movie to see people die and to have your adrenaline spiked. It's fun, and I have come to really enjoy it. I like the black and the oranges, the colors of Halloween, and just getting into the spookiness and the woo type stuff. I find it fun. So for the month of October, we're going to embrace that a little bit and talk about exclusively spooky, scary skeletons and all that kind of fun stuff. So for our first week, we're going to talk about Sinister, which is, I suppose, my favorite, my first horror movie. Technically, I guess it was the Halloween 2018 reboot, but I went and saw that in theaters on a whim. I really enjoyed it. Sinister was really the first time I went and saw a movie specifically to get scared, and I did get scared watching it. One of my buddies forced me to come to his house and watch it. We watched it in the dark with the speakers blaring, and it was a very fun, very spooky, scary time. So I'm going to just talk about it a little bit and talk about my love of this movie and why you should go see it, because I don't know how popular it is in the horror community. You know, you got your Halloweens and your Friday the 13th and Candyman and all that kind of stuff. I feel like Sinister kind of slides under the radar a bit. So I'm going to talk about it real quick. But yeah, let's get into it. I forgot we're not doing weekly headlines or anything like that anymore, just for my sake. So we're just gonna jump right into the movie. And yeah, so Sinister was directed by Scott Derrickson, also written by him along with a dude named C. Robert Cargill. Scott Derrickson wrote and directed, I think, Doctor Strange, the first one, which I personally had a fun time with. So he's kind of big in the horror community. He's almost exclusively a horror director besides Doctor Strange. I think he did a good job directing here. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I don't know, my mind is just blank right now. I really enjoy this movie. Kind of kicking off my love of the horror genre and getting me into more and more horror movies. I think first watched it like 2 years ago, and a lot of it still sticks with me. So it's led by Ethan Hawke, who I think did a really good job. He's like a true crime writer, novelist who moves his family to this house where this family died, and as they're there, he's investigating the house and all the stuff that happened with it, and they find out that there's ghosts and strange occurrences happening. His daughter is drawing crap on the wall, getting really scary, and as things escalate, as he learns more about this, he decides to move back home with his family at the very end of the movie, which was very unfortunate for them. Yeah, something straight off the bat, something about the atmosphere I feel really works. There's not like constant scares, or there's not this like massive intensity. It's pretty much for the most part like an investigative piece, but because it takes place in a murder house where there are ghosts, you're constantly just getting paranoid. At least I was, with just a simple scene of him watching the films and just going, wow, this is really creepy, and just taking notes. I'm on the edge of my seat because there's so much darkness around him. You're looking in the shadows to see what's happening. And then the films in it of themselves are really spooky. There are, one, two, three, four, five films, and then a sixth one added at the end. The movie opens up with the most recent one called Family Hanging Out from 2011. The reason it's called that is because it is a film of this kid hanging his entire family before hanging himself. It's quite a way to open up a movie, and it establishes this creepy atmosphere that just kind of sucks you in. But the rest of them in chronological order. So the first one chronologically is Pool Party 66, which is basically this kid filming him drowning his family. He ties them to kind of these lawn chairs, and then ties the lawn chairs to, I believe, like a cement bricks or something, and pushes them into the water, letting them drown. Barbecue 79, which is this family having a family barbecue, and then the next thing you know, suddenly the entire family is locked in a car, breathing in fumes and stuff as they burn. Lawn Work is probably the most, for me, that's the one that sticks with me the most, where all it is just a lawnmower going along, and then it turns left, and suddenly there's just the whole family laying there, and it's just, and it's, that one messes me up. And then finally you have Sleepy Time 98, which is basically just a kid killing his family while they sleep. And I suppose I spoiled a little bit of this because a lot of this movie relies on kind of the pieces of the puzzle sticking together, figuring out who's killing each family, thinking that, oh, well, it's this rogue serial killer or something like that. But then you kind of find out, and I guess spoiler warning on this movie's this movie's nearly 10 years old. So, and it's not like an important benchmark movie. A lot of what horror is just experience. So just that, keep that in mind. So I'm going to spoil the movie as I talk about it, but there's the mystery that's kind of unraveling of, okay, so turns out there's a kid in each of these families who commits the murders, and you find out that, like, the first one, Pool Party, they die, then this family moves in, we don't know what happens, but then they move out, and suddenly the house they move into, that's the family that participates in the barbecue of 79, and then the Lawn Work family moves into that house, moves out of the house, they get killed, Sleepy Time family moves in, moves out, gets killed, and then Family Hanging Out moves in, moves out. So you see the pattern is, if the family that moves into the house, the murder house, next, and then moves out, moves away, suddenly they get killed. Which does not set a good precedent for Ethan Hawke's family in this movie. But the big thing that I really enjoy is that kind of mystery element that ties in with the horror. You see this figure in each home movie, and he has a really creepy design. I used him for the thumbnail of episode 30, I think, where I'm talking about my favorite horror villains, and I just really enjoyed his design because he's not overly used, and he's kind of kept in shadow or kept obscured, but in each home video you see this figure of this guy named Bagul. In the Pool Party, you see him being reflected in the waves. Family Hanging Out, he's in the bushes. Lawn Work, I forget where he's at in that one, but he pops up in all of them. In Barbecue, he's kind of in the back of the garage, and it's just this creepy figure that you don't notice the first time, but when you go back through it, or when Ethan Hawke goes back through it and discovers Bagul, suddenly you're looking for him everywhere. And I think the biggest scare in the movie for me was there's an image of Bagul that Ethan Hawke's looking at, and the way the shot's set up, I know it's coming. I remember when I was watching it with my buddies, I was just like sitting there trying to call it out. I'm going, oh, don't do it. I know what you're doing. And Ethan Hawke just literally looks away from the screen, and you just see Bagul's image just go. It just looks at him really quick and then just goes back to static. And it was like, what the crap? Oh my gosh. And turns out like Bagul was like some pagan god type deal that liked killing kids or possessing kids and gathering up kids' souls. So the way he's started doing it is adapting it to adapting to the times. With the invention of the home video camera, he's like, oh shoot, all right, well, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make some home movies. And kids, you're gonna kill your families and come join old Uncle Bagul up in Filmland or wherever he's taking them to. But it creates like a good, like an actual mystery to unravel. Bagul actually has somewhat of a plan or a process in how he does things. It's not just kind of like senseless killings or just I guess that's the way it is. He has a little bit of a process to what he does. He has a bit of a method to the madness, which I actually really enjoyed. It's kind of cool to see a supernatural villain in a horror movie kind of actually have some sort of plan, like not a master plan, but just a process to how he does things. So it allows the audience to kind of try to figure out how he's doing this. Like he still doesn't really have a reason why. He doesn't have like a master plan of like, with Candyman had the master plan of killing the main woman and a baby and like dying as a family, warped family thing, and that was the ultimate end of what he wanted to do. With Bagul, it's just, yeah, I just want to take kids' souls. There's this new thing called home videos, so I'm gonna just use that to take kids' souls. Which I guess in retrospect doesn't make much sense because this dude is a pagan god, so like he's been around since like the 1400s, 1500s. I don't really know why he would necessarily need this process, because what did he do it like via parchment paper or something in the past? But tucking that away, that little continuity weird thing, I really like how he kills families and takes kids. Only in horror movies can you say that. But yeah, other notable scenes, the big scene is this hallway sequence where Ethan Hawke is walking down, I forget the characters' names, but Ethan Hawke is walking down this hallway, and you see behind him these kids almost dreamlike kind of floating through the hallway in and out before he turns around and they're suddenly gone. And it's really interesting the way they filmed this. I don't usually look at behind the scenes stuff or special features. I'm just, well, a lot of what I watch is via streaming services, so they don't have that option. But B, I don't really have a lot of time in my day to be looking that kind of stuff up. But when I do, or some of the friends I watch with have a little bit more time on their hands to kind of research that, or I don't know, I'm just too lazy to. I don't want to make it sound like they're just free all the time, but it's interesting the way they filmed this. They had Ethan Hawke walking down a hallway at like a very fast pace and had the kids just walking normally, and filmed it at a very, I think it's a higher shutter rate, at a higher shutter speed. So they captured it at higher shutter speed. Ethan Hawke's just like, I'm sorry, audio viewers, I'm walking. he's like walking really quickly, turns around, walking really quickly, and then just having the kids walk normally. And then they just slowed it down to where it looks like he's walking normally, and then the kids are going like, "Woo!" And it's such a cool effect. I mean, very simple, like no special effects there. It's just all practical with just a little bit of movie magic, something that no other medium can do, and I love it for that. Very creative, very fun. And then speaking of the kids, I mean, the kids in this movie I thought did a great job. The main daughter, I thought she pulled off. Usually, like with creepy kid characters, they don't really have like a convincing performance. Like, you really have to get the right kid. There's very few children who just fit the roles, right? When you get a child actor, you can't really go, all right, now you're this highly intelligent. You just have to feed them the lines and hope that they can say it right. Kids are very hard to kind of manage that way. There are very few kid actors or kid roles that fully work. I mean, you got Elliot and E.T. There's this kid named Gabriel in this one of my favorite shows ever, Person of Interest. I thought that role was really good. But in this movie, I thought she did a really good job. She pulled off like the fun, loving, artistic, just kid, excited and wild-eyed about the world. And then she starts talking to her imaginary friend Bagul, and Bagul's like, hey kid, I want you to start prepping things to kill your family. Just start painting on the walls and making loud noises in the middle of the night and start making demons crap. And I think she pulls off the creepiness quite well, and to where at the end of the movie, where she makes her own home movie called House Painting 2012. It felt convincing. And it is a very intense moment where they move back home. The little daughter ties him up, starts painting the house with a certain red liquid that courses through everybody's bodies. I don't know why I described it like that, but that's how it is. And then she goes and joins Bagul in the TV screen. Like I said, Bagul just has like a freaking dead child playhouse, I guess, in the TV. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's effective. But yeah, that the movie's great. It's something you really have to experience, and I feel like with a lot of horror movies, you just gotta experience them. I'm looking at my time, and holy crap, I've not been talking for that long. It has been only like 19 minutes. You gotta love it sometimes. It's a shorter episode. I got a little bit of crap to do. I'm also a little frazzled, so that looking back at what I was saying, some of the stuff I was saying, I'm just kind of like blanking. It's because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Usually we do like a weekly catch up at the beginning of every episode, and I forgot to do that. So how are you guys doing? We're just gonna pad the time out just a little bit before we get into weekly recommendations. How are you guys doing? I am doing okay. I'm not very overwhelmed with the amount of work and stuff with college, but I'm just exhausted from it, and I'm ready for winter break. I'm ready to be able to do some more stuff with this channel. I put out a review on Friday of the Many Saints of Newark, and it's doing well in terms of views, as opposed to everything else that I'm putting out, mostly probably because it's a shorter review of a new movie. So I think I'm going to start doing more of those, more reviews of newer movies, just to kind of give you guys shorter content and exclusive content on YouTube or Rumble. So Spotify and Apple Podcast listeners, get on the YouTube channel or the Rumble channel. Yeah, I mean, works a lot. I got like 3 assignments that are due tomorrow, one of which my teacher did not tell me about. So that'll be fun trying to figure that out. Uh, and yeah, later tonight I'm going to see a movie called Titan. I don't know what it's pronounced, but I'm going to see that. My professor said he would give me extra credit for going to see it, and it's a new movie, so why not? And I might make a review of that and put that out uh, later tonight in terms of Sunday. So tomorrow, yesterday night, or I might put it out later tonight, Monday night. We'll see. We'll see how it does. But yeah, I don't have much else. Sinister's a solid movie. Not a lot in terms to talk about, just a little bit of things. I would recommend you guys go see it, or go watch it on Netflix. Dark Room, best sound system you got. I recently got like a surround sound speaker system, and it sounds beautiful, and I love it. So yeah, I would give Sinister an 8 out of 10. I don't know if we're still doing ratings or not. Like I said, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I got homework to do. So we're gonna wrap things up here. I know it's only been like almost not even 25 minutes. So I'm giving you guys a bit of a shorter episode today. And I figured it would be. Once again, not a lot to talk about with Sinister, but some cool stuff that I figured would be worth talking about. Go check it out. Go watch it. That's everything for me today. Let's check out the weekly recommendations and head out. I mean, I got I got nothing better. First off, I'm gonna recommend the movie that I released a review of on Saturday morning, The Many Saints of Newark, the prequel to the Sopranos series. I went more in depth on my thoughts in the review, but for right here, for my podcast listeners who have yet to see the review, I thought it was solid. I think there was some pacing, some stuff where you could have gotten more of. I would like to add that I saw people saying it would work better as a miniseries, and I definitely agree. It would have given us more of the characters, but besides that, I think it does a really good job of representing what The Sopranos was and giving us some backstory to Tony while also introducing us to a really good character in Dickie Maltasanti. The next one, It's a Wonderful Life. I'm sure everyone and their mother has seen this movie. Somehow I have not decided before this past week, or I have and I've completely forgotten anything about it. So I watched it. It was really good. Maybe I thought it was a little overrated. It's like 8.6, top 100 movies of all time on IMDb. I don't know if I would put it that high, but I think it was really freaking good. I think my only issue with it, it's like a 2 hour, 10-minute movie, and the first hour and a half is just kind of normal family drama type stuff, and then he finally does the whole, oh, I wish I wasn't alive, and the angel comes down to show him what life would be like without him. And when we got to that and I was watching it, I'm like, that makes sense. They spend enough time with the characters beforehand. They spend a lot of time so you fully understand who they are, how the town works, what's going on there. So when suddenly he disappears from the equation, you understand why they are at the places they're at. So there's a lot more of an emotional punch than it would have if it was like a modern movie. And the first 20 minutes was him going, oh yeah, I love my life, yada yada yada. Oh, I wish I wasn't alive. And then the next hour and a half was just him moping around. It definitely had more of a punch. I wish we got more of the angel. I thought he was a solid character. But yeah, good movie. I really like it. For the upcoming Christmas season, I guess. I don't know. I'm recommending a Christmas movie at the beginning of October. You know my mind's gone. But yeah, go watch that. Finally, I'm going to recommend another new movie. This movie dropped on Amazon Prime 2 months ago. It's called Val. It is a documentary of the one and only Val Kilmer. I was not a huge Val Kilmer fan before watching this. I've seen Batman. What's he in? Batman Forever. One of the horniest superhero movies I've ever seen. And I don't know, maybe one or two other things. Wasn't he in Brother Bear? I feel like he was in Brother Bear. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. But I've only seen him in like a few things. I haven't seen. I'm gonna freaking expose myself right here. I haven't seen Tombstone. I haven't seen Top Gun. I haven't seen some of his big roles. So I'm not super honed in on Val Kilmer. But this documentary made me really interested to watch his stuff, to look into more about him, and I would love to sit down and just talk to him, because he seems like someone who's very empathetic. He's a very active and engaged conversation person, and he just feels like an interesting individual to have a conversation with. There are very few people in Hollywood, or like, celebrities that I go, oh yeah, I'd love to just sit down, grab a drink, or grab a meal with them and just talk to them. A lot of them just, oh yeah, they're a really good performer. That's it. I don't really know much about them outside of that, and I guess that might be how it should be in most cases. But like, Val Kilmer or Robert Downey Jr., people like that just intrigue me as a person, to where I would love to meet them and talk to them. There's just certain people in the world that I'm like that with. Is I just see them or hear about them and go, I want to talk to them. I want to see how their life is, or who they are, and what they think about certain things. But yeah, really good movie, really good documentary. That's in my top 10 of the year right now. So go check those out. Tell me what you think. I'm sorry for a shorter episode, or maybe I'm not. Maybe you would prefer shorter episodes where I don't ramble on for an hour, and only prefer me to ramble on for 30 minutes. Who knows? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're watching on YouTube, press the subscribe button, press the like button, hit that bell icon. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of Sinister? What did you think of Val? What do you think about me not seeing It's a Wonderful Life until now? Many Saints in Newark. Go check out the new Many Saints in Newark review on YouTube or Rumble. Subscribe to us on Rumble. Leave a Rumble there. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get Spotify, or get podcasts and listen to podcasts. Give us 5-star ratings there. I am trying to work on making this channel better. It's just been hard with all the school stuff. I am looking into moving out of where I'm at right now currently, which is my childhood home. I am a man who lives at home with his parents still. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm looking at moving into an apartment, or moving into a new house closer to my school. And when I do that, I feel like I'll have a bit more time, a bit more space to kind of mess with some things and make this better for you all. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me for so long, for the small amount of people who have. I know this is a very small channel, and I'm okay with that. But share this out with people, and I'll see you next week. We'll hopefully have a bit more to talk about with the coming weeks. I know at least one project that I want to talk about, that I'm really excited to talk about, and I will wait until maybe not next week, but the week after, or the final week of October. We'll see where I'm at. But yeah, thank you all for watching and listening. This has been the Cinema Lounge, where we just kind of chilled for a bit, got spaced out, and talked a little bit about Sinister, the 2012 movie directed by Scott Derrickson. And yeah, that's been it. I love you all. Have a good night. Don't get too spooked out there. And always remember, keep your kids away from video cameras, because they might end up filming themselves killing you. I love you all, everyone. Good day and good night.